Dear learners, I welcome you all to the higher module on Institutional Management for Entrepreneurship. We will focus on Unit 6, that is Rural Centered Entrepreneurship, and this is video 3 for a video series, and it is titled as Managing Rural Startups. The contents of the presentation are an introduction to rural startups, setting up a rural startup, managing rural startups, its challenges and remedies, and a case study. Now, an introduction to rural startups. According to Khadi and Village Industries Commission (KVIC), rural startups means rural industry or a village industry, which means any industry located in a rural area that produces any goods or renders any service with or without the use of power, in which the fixed capital investment per head of an artisan or a worker does not exceed 1 lakh in plain areas and rupees 1.50 lakhs in the hilly areas. Now, setting up a rural startup. Rural startup is initiated by an idea for a product or a process combined with the desire and a zeal to convert that particular idea to a reality locally in the rural setup. A rural entrepreneur tries to utilize the locally available resources in an effective manner. According to the KVIC, the village industries are divided into 7 heads as per given below. These 7 heads are: the first one is agro-based and food processing industry. This is the most important rural industry, which includes processing industry. This may be processing of pulses, cereals, fruits and vegetables. Other industries included in this include gur and kansari, palm gur industry, as well as the oil industry. Second type of industry is known as mineral based industry. The industry based on pottery and lime is known as mineral based industry. Next one is polymer and chemicals based industry. Now, these include non-edible oils, leather products, soap industries and other industries. This include like plastic industry and cottage match industry. The next major industry for the rural startup is forest based industry. Forest based industry is based upon the products which are available from the forest areas. Now, these types of products include the medicinal herbs and plants based industry, then we have beekeeping as well as the forest based industries. Now, next type of rural startup which you can have is in case of handmade paper and fiber based industry. As the name implies, it includes handmade paper as well as the products based upon the fiber. Another type we have is the rural engineering and biotechnology. The various industries included in this are industry based upon the non-conventional energy, based upon carpentry and blacksmithery, as well as the industries based upon electronics. The last one is the service industry, which is responsible for the coordination. So, dear learners, these are some of the industries in which a rural startup can be set up. Now, the major problem in this case is the managing of rural startups. The managing of rural startup involves a lot of challenges. So, in the next slides, we are going to understand the various problems which are involved for the management of these startups, as well as some remedies, how to solve these problems or how to solve these challenges. Now, starting up with first of all, the major part of a startup is the finances. So, how to manage the finances of a rural startup? First of all, let us concentrate on the various challenges involved in the finances of rural startup. We call it as paucity or lack of funds. The first challenge is when we do not have proper funds. Now, rural entrepreneurs who wish to set up a startup find it very difficult to get funds for their ventures. The major reason behind this is the absence of tangible, which we call as the physical security and credit in the market. Lack of finance available to rural entrepreneurs is by far one of the biggest problems faced by the rural entrepreneurs. The procedure to avail the loan facility from the banks is too time consuming, including lot of documentation, which delays and also discourages the rural entrepreneur who wishes to start its rural startup. Now, rural people being poor are mostly not able to avail loans because of insufficient established forms of collateral or physical assets to offer. So, these are some of the financial challenges which are faced when you are starting a rural startup. Now, what is the remedial solution for that? First of all, let us understand the financing sector. In developing country like ours, there are majorly two types of financing sectors. The first one is known as the formal sector. The formal sector is related to the banks and financial institutions. These acts as an intermediary between the borrower, that is the entrepreneur, as well as the government. Now, these financial institutions are regulated and supervised by some banking laws, and they charge very nominal rates of interest that are usually subsidized by the government. Or in other words, we say all this process is controlled by the government in case of the formal sector. Now, the government has various institutions for the purpose of Industrial Credit and Investment Corporations of India, Industrial Finance Corporation of India, and Small Scale Industry Development Bank of India, and some of the major national level institutions that are helping out rural entrepreneurs. Some state level institutions are also working, like State Financial Corporation and State Industrial Development Corporation. All these financial institutions and banks help in providing finance to the rural as well as urban startups. Now, the second type of prevailing infrastructure for the finance is the informal sector. The informal sector means the professional money lenders, the commission agents, the landlords, which we call as the zamindars, friends and relatives who are not supervised by national bank authorities. Now, this sector we know they lend money generally at very high, sometimes even exorbitant interest rates. So, these are very expensive for the new startups. Now, what is the remedy or what is the solution for these challenges faced for the financial part? The remedial measures which can be adopted are creation of finance cells. That means banks and other financial institutions should create some special cells for helping the rural entrepreneurs to avail their services easily. Now, the subsidized rate of interest should be provided on easy repayment basis, and some mechanism to reduce the formalities required for availing the loans need to be created so as to simplify the procedures for the sanction of loans and finances for the rural startups. Another factor is the formation of self-help groups. This is another solution for this problem. Self-help groups constitute a group of few individuals who pool their savings into a fund from which they can borrow as and when necessary. So, this is a solution for the finances related to the rural startup. Some other challenges related to the management of startups are, first of all, we have some legal formalities. In order to comply with various legal formalities, for example, for obtaining licenses, rural entrepreneurs find it extremely difficult due to ignorance and illiteracy. Similarly, the purchase of raw materials of good quality is also a tough job for many new entrepreneurs who are setting up their startups. Another problem is the lack of technical knowledge. Rural entrepreneurs to a major extent suffer a severe problem of lack of this technical knowledge. And we have poor quality products. It has been noted that the products produced are of very inferior quality due to the lack of availability of standard tools and other equipment, as well as maybe due to the poor quality of the raw materials. So, these are some of the challenges related to the management of the startups. Now, the solution or remedy to this is that the rural startups need to be given proper supply of the raw materials on priority basis. Subsidies may also be offered at times to make the products manufactured by rural startups reasonable and cost competitive. Now learners, the next major part is the management of human resources for a rural startup. What are the challenges which are faced for managing the human resources? Now the major challenge is the low skill level of workers. It is a major problem faced by the rural startups. The reasons for this is low literacy rate, that is mostly the workforce is uneducated. Most of the entrepreneurs setting up their startups are unable to find the workers with high skills. Training is again a problem because for entrepreneurs, as they are mostly uneducated, and the training has to be imparted in their local language only, which they can easily understand. Now the solution for managing these human resources are, these can be solved by providing proper job training skills to the workforce. Training is essential for the overall development of entrepreneurship. It also enables the rural entrepreneurs to undertake the venture successfully as it imparts required skills to run the enterprise. At present, the economically weaker entrepreneurs of the society are offered such training facility by Government of India regarding skill development of the existing entrepreneurs, so that rural entrepreneurs can indeed generate income as well as employment opportunities in rural areas. The workforce employed for the startup also needs to be given proper training. So learners, we have seen in the previous topics that there are number of schemes, government schemes for the providing training. So these schemes should be utilized for the proper training of the workforce, for providing them skill training in order to solve this problem. Another major problem is the marketing of rural startups. Marketing problems. Let us see what are the problems faced by the rural startups. These rural startups face marketing problems because of the competition from large and urban entrepreneurs. We know that when a new startup is taking place at the rural part, then it is mostly a smaller enterprise. But when the products goes into the market, it has to compete with a similar product being produced by a big or a larger company. So this is the major problem. Similarly, problem of standardization and quality and lack of branding are some major issues faced by them. They do not have any brand name to their product. And the new ventures have limited financial resources. They cannot afford much for promoting and advertising their products. So these are some of the marketing problems faced by the rural startups. Now the solution for this is that the rural entrepreneurs need to come with some new strategies for advertisement and for marketing and for promoting their products. One method is that setting up of marketing cooperatives. For this, proper assistance and encouragement should be provided to the rural entrepreneurs for setting up marketing cooperatives. These cooperatives shall help in getting various inputs at reasonable rate, and they are helpful in selling their products at the remuneration prices. So dear learners, from all these we can conclude in few words that providing proper skill based training, setting up of separate financial institutions, development of marketing cooperatives to a large extent will help to flourish the rural startups, will help to solve the problems related to the establishment and the management of the rural startups. Now to sum up this, we have a case study. Now we will try to understand this case study, Rural Centered Entrepreneurship, a case study of IEDC, Amal Jyoti College of Engineering, Kanjirapalli, Kottayam, Kerala. This has been shared by Professor KCC Nair. The Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Center, which we call as IEDC, is an initiative of NSTED DST Government of India, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Amal Jyoti IEDC is the first NSTED supported and funded IEDC in Kerala. The thrust area of this IEDC is rural entrepreneurship in rural technology, green technology, IT and artificial intelligence. This IEDC started in 2011 and supporting students and faculty who have rural innovations. The IEDC is started with the mentorship of Technopark TBI. In the first year itself assisted 4 startups from within the college. All the startups were students lead. The college also provided a seed fund of rupees 1 lakh each to the startups for the initial expenditure. This IEDC became self-sustainable in a time period of 4 years with more than 10 startups housed in the IEDC. IEDC provides self-contained office facilities, high-speed internet, uninterrupted power and water, mentor support with mentors in residence, prototype development support, marketing support and all other incubation services at a reasonable and discounted rate to the startups. After 5 years of successful operation of IEDC, the college has applied to NSTED for a technology business incubator and got the sanction in 2017. This self-financing college got rupees 3.65 crores initially for meeting the capex and opex and became successful in 2 years because of the wonderful experience they got by running the successful IEDC. They believed that automation of the tradition systems used in rural sectors is the only way to uplift the rural people. Development of interdisciplinary techniques is essential for the overall development of the common people in the high range region of Kottayam district in Kerala at Kanjirapalli, where the college is situated. Now, thrilled by these successes, they applied for the second TBI in biotechnology and agriculture to the Department of Biotechnology, that is DBT, in 2018 and got the DBT incubator called BioNest in 2019. As on 31st March 2021, the Startup Valley, as they call the facility altogether, have 30 startup companies in the IEDC, Rural Technology TBI and a BioNest owned by the students and faculty members. The student startups and innovators developed many products in the incubators like coconut dehusker, arachidnut dehusker, automated rubber tapping tool, latex carrying backpack, advanced hair culling device, device for recovering kits from manholes and bore well holes, pepper separator, de-weeding device for paddy fields, etc. They have flagship programs like Yuva Mastermind in association with Malala Manorama daily newspaper, IK Youth Science Ride, Innoverts, 12U and Educumen, etc. A Maker Hub is functioning within the incubator for prototyping and manufacturing of startup tools and devices. The major products are mostly agriculture and biotech based. So, dear learners, this was a case study representing the rural entrepreneurship. So, for more content and for more knowledge, kindly refer to the e-content of this unit. Thank you.